Today is Wednesday, June 25, 2014. It's the 176th day of the year. There are 189 days remaining until the end of 2014. Sunrise today is at 5:08 a.m. The sun sets at 8:38 p.m. Length of daylight hours today is 15 hours, 30 minutes, 39 seconds. That's 16 seconds shorter than yesterday. Tomorrow will be 20 seconds shorter than today. The waning crescent moon with 2.9% illumination is 28 days old, rises at 4 a.m. and sets at 7:04 p.m. The moon passes above downtown Redland City today at 246,510 miles distant from the center of planet Earth within the third zodiacal designation, Gemini, the twins. On this day in 1876, Battle of the Little Bighorn and the death of Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. An unprecedented disaster for the U.S. military in the year of the nation's centennial. The Battle of the Little Bighorn in eastern Montana Territory begins on this day in 1876 and is an overwhelming military and cultural victory for warriors of the Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, Arapaho over the U.S. 7th Cavalry. When the battle ends on June 27, U.S. casualty count, including scouts, 268 dead, 55 wounded. 5 of the 7th's 12 companies are destroyed, including Custer, 2 of his brothers, a nephew, and a brother-in-law. Black Elk is an Oglala Lakota medicine man, a second cousin to Crazy Horse. He fights the Americans until he's injured, shot through the hip, including Custer's 7th Cavalry at the Little Bighorn when he's 13 years old. His 1932 book, Black Elk Speaks, which he writes with American poet John Neihardt, has become a classic and rare first-person chronicle by a native tribesman of life on the plains among native people. The Cliff Notes analysis of Black Elk's observations of events at the Little Bighorn from Chapter 9, The Rubbing Out of Long Hair, goes something like this. The Battle of the Little Bighorn on June 25, 1876, is popularly known as Custer's Last Stand in reference to General George Armstrong Custer, the commander of the U.S. 7th Cavalry who's killed and whose forces are defeated in this attack. He has presidential ambitions, and one of the reasons for conducting this battle is the hope of a dramatic victory that will put him in the public eye. To this end, he engages a newspaper reporter to accompany him. Custer commits at least 2 great wrongs in this battle. Not only is he participating in what becomes a genocidal mission, quelling hostile Indians for the U.S. government, but without adequate information, he leads his own men into a battle they cannot possibly survive, purely to further his personal ambitions. It is estimated that as many as 12,000 Indians, of whom 4,000 are warriors, gather near the Little Bighorn River in what is now Montana to meet with Sitting Bull. The Sioux have a reputation as warriors, and this chapter offers a glimpse of some of their practices, including war cries, horsemanship, scalping. This chapter clarifies the position women hold in battle, which is to encourage the warriors and later to carry off the spoils of war. The Sioux, thinking of the helpless people at home that they are defending, willingly face death in battle. On this day in 1967, in a worldwide television broadcast, the Beatles unveiled their song, All You Need Is Love, transmitted by satellite to 400 million people on a worldwide TV program. The Our World Project is the first worldwide TV special, broadcast in 24 countries on June 25, 1967. The show is 6 hours long and features music from 6 continents, with the Beatles representing Britain. Lennon's All You Need Is Love is chosen because of its easy-to-understand and pretty-to-think-so message of love and peace. The song is easy to play, the words easy to remember, and it speaks to the feeling of the world's boomers who just want to make love, not money. Seasons declared Summer of Love thereafter. When people wax nostalgic about the 60s, it's from this date onward they seem to be remembering. This is the peak of Beatlemania. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band has been the top-selling album since its release June 1. It doesn't get any better for them from here. In later years, it's revealed that perhaps the song's message might be hyperbolic. As it turns out, love is fine, granting the biological imperative and all, but an occasional cheese sandwich, a bowl of rice, clean drinking water might also be among necessities. On this day in 2009, 50-year-old Michael Jackson is found dead in the Los Angeles mansion he's renting. News spreads quickly through social media, and Jackson's the subject of numerous tributes over the next few weeks. Born this day in 1935, Eddie Floyd, American singer-songwriter. He's born in Montgomery, Alabama. Later moves to Detroit. He starts the Falcons with Mac Rice. Later, Wilson Pickett joins the group. Floyd's song, I Found a Love, is a hit with Pickett's lead vocal. The Falcons break up when Pickett leaves the group for a legendary solo career, and Floyd scores a songwriting contract with Memphis-based Stax Records. He writes the hit Comfort Me for Carla Thomas. In 1966, Floyd records a song he's written with guitarist Steve Cropper for Otis Redding. The song is Knock on Wood, and Jerry Wexler of Atlantic Records convinces Stax to release and promote Floyd's version, launching Eddie Floyd as a solo artist. The song rises to number 1 on Billboard's Soul Singles chart. Knock on Wood has since been covered more than 100 times. Eddie Floyd is still active, 77 years old today, as a writer, recording artist, and performer. The Welsh poet Dylan Thomas writes, "A good poem is a contribution to reality. The world is never the same once a good poem has been added to it. A good poem helps to change the shape of the universe, helps to extend everyone's knowledge of himself and the world around him." From Rutland, Vermont, this is Richard Alcott speaking.